Jeff Wilson Jr. just got traded to the Miami Dolphins for a 5th-round pick. I'd love to hear your take on it, Larry.
Well, it's interesting on a lot of fronts. One, I think it's because, like, okay, so which move do you prefer? Would you rather see Jeff Wilson traded for a 5th or Jordan Mason cut in a week? Because that's kind of what it was going to be. It was going to be somebody was going to get cut. It was probably going to be Mason. Niner fans were going to bitch and moan if he was cut after 1 carry for 7 yards. So to take a player as like Wilson, who's an undrafted free agent, who's not your number 1 running back, who's not your number 2 running back, heck, he might not even be your number 3 running back, and to get a 5th-round pick, which is kind of the sweet spot if history tells you anything on Lynch and Peters in these drafts, I'm fine with it. I'm a little like, it's a little weird to trade off of a surplus that is kind of could be gone at any second. Like, what happens if McCaffrey, knock on wood, gets hurt, and Elijah Mitchell, knock on wood, gets hurt again, and now suddenly you're looking at TDP and Jordan Mason, and you're trying to win playoff games? I don't know about that. There'll be enough time to second guess it then. But overall, I like it because I didn't want to cut Jordan Mason for nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I would have rather they trade Ty Davis Price. I mean, if he was a 3rd-round pick a few months ago, is he worth anything in a trade, or has he lost all value in 6 months? That's who I'd rather trade. But given the fact that the Niners, Kyle Shanahan never really respected Jeff Wilson Jr., and he was going to get buried on the bench and just be used as like in case someone gets hurt, just as well. I mean, I don't like it because I feel like he's underrated and an asset to the team. I mean, he's better than depth, but Kyle disagrees. Kyle's never really saw him as an asset. He's been trying to replace him for years. I mean, Trey Sermon, Ty Davis Price, and now Christian McCaffrey. I feel good for Jeff Wilson Jr. Now he gets to go to a coach who wants him, a scheme he knows, and a team that's 5-3. It's a great move for him. I feel good for him.
Yeah, I mean, for him, he probably, this didn't bubble to the surface yet, but I would imagine
he asked for it.
He probably asked for it. Yeah, he probably asked for it. I mean, I don't think they just said, let's say, let's just see, let's get rid of Jeff. I think he probably was like, hey man, you want to go with McCaffrey? You got Mitchell coming back, no problem. Give me my release. And they said, well, wait a second, you might actually have a little bit more value than that. And considering all the picks they've moved, getting another one back is not the worst thing. And since he's a free agent at the end of the year, if you love him so much, you can always bid on him again. So and also if you look at the free agent market for running backs, there's about 15 good running backs in this upcoming free agent market. So if you don't like the running backs in the draft, if you don't like going forward with McCaffrey and Mitchell, if there's a lot of backs. Let's just say that. So I don't view it as that crucial of a move either way, but I was a little surprised because it is depth and they are in season.
You mentioned it's a contract year for him. Yeah, and in that sense, it's kind of not fair to bury him. He's averaging 5.1 yards per carry. He's playing well. He's doing everything he needs to do to get that contract, and now you bury him? I mean, that's not fair to him, and it's creating a, malcontent in your locker room that you don't need. So in that sense, I understand moving him. Still, you better keep the whole logic is that Elijah Mitchell's coming back and he's going to fall to 3. Well, Elijah Mitchell's been healthy for like 3 weeks this year. So you better be able to you better trust in your training staff's evaluation and your ability to keep those 2 running backs, McCaffrey and Mitchell, healthy. Because if one of them goes down, you're really going to miss Jeff Wilson Jr. And frankly, the Niners haven't been able to keep any of their running backs healthy for an extended period of time. So I'm curious to see why they're so confident. But maybe they know something.
Well, I think what they know is that their evaluations are, and this is just my guess because this is just my evaluation, TDP's better than Jeff Wilson. Jordan Mason is better than Jeff Wilson. I realize that's a projection for a lot of people, but based on what I've seen, and I watch college film and I watch preseason tape, I think those guys are better. I think I think they have more upside. I think they're faster. I think this guy's got 9 career fumbles. It's a lot of fumbles for a back who's kind of a one cut and go guy. And he's not your 1. He's not your 2. He's never demonstrated that he's Mitchell in my mind. Mitchell seems like he's got way better ability to hold on to the ball. So that makes him more dependable. And I think he's faster. And I think he's got more versatility. And then I think Jordan Mason is a hell of a back. So
I like Mason. I need to see something more from Ty Davis Price. He's averaging 2.3 yards per carry on a team where everyone averages 5 yards per carry. I need to see more from Ty Davis Price. But he does have upside. He is fast. He runs hard.
Well, and
he
how
can
many
develop.
carries does he have on the year, Grant?
16. So it's a little early. Small sample size.
16. Yeah, I would have thought maybe it was even less than that. So they just got to. I like Ty Davis Price. I saw him rumble. Maybe it's because I saw LSU Florida live and he rumbled in that game for huge yards. But yeah, I'm a fan.
I don't understand the Jeff Wilson trade is considered bad. They got a 5th round for an undrafted running back with an expiring deal, and we have a running back depth still. Okay, Larry agrees.
Yeah, I agree.
It just feels like the Niners go from having too many running backs to no running backs in the span of 2 weeks. It happens all the time.
I know.
But we'll see. We'll see. Has there been an update on Lance's recovery? They haven't really been talking about him. Haven't seen him around. It's a little strange, like the invisible man. Like for example, you see Emmanuel Mosley. You see Emmanuel Mosley in the press box at home games, right?
Yeah,
you see these guys. I haven't seen Lance.
I haven't either, but Kyle makes it seem like he can't stand to be away from the team for even a minute. So who knows? Maybe he's hanging out. Yeah, I saw a picture of him getting out of a car wearing a big cast, but he's next year at this point, right? So
you know what I'm talking about. At those home games, they give a box to all the injured players who are on IR, and you see them coming out and they eat lunch with you. At halftime, they're out there getting chicken tenders and nachos, and you see Emmanuel Mosley and his big thing. And how you doing, Emmanuel? Good to see you. Elijah Mitchell when he's on IR. Haven't seen Trey. Don't know what's up with that. So, but again, I didn't see Jimmy when he was on IR back in the day either. Maybe some guys, they don't want mingling with the press when they're hurt.
they want to hide certain guys out maybe a little bit more.
Maybe. Callie Tremor says, I like Larry's take. Great perspective. No, I hate Larry's take. That's why he's on the channel. Josh Wyatt says, how are the same guys who said F them picks celebrating our best goal line back for a late round pick? Hey, thank you for pointing out the inherent contradiction in that stance. F them picks, but we needed a 5th round pick. Hey, if this means Jordan Mason gets a shot and he's great, I'm happy. But we'll have to see about that. Good call, Josh.
F them picks. Who's saying that? Who said F them picks?
Certain fans.
Come on, man. The draft is the lifeblood of the sport. You can never say F them picks. Now, you can prefer players to picks, and I get that. But this idea that, like, picks are just like, no. Picks have value.
It is just, to me, it's strange that the Niners' final move at the trade deadline was to sell something when they're all in. To me, I mean, you could have actually added another piece. And having your final move be a sell move feels like a hedge. Like, yeah, we're all in for this year, but can't forget the future either. It's like, yeah, I guess.
No, to me, it seems like they're just burying a headline that they don't like, which is that somebody wants out of, Shanahan's kingdom.
Niners cut Ty Davis Price after 7 games, and that's
that would be the good question for Shanny, wouldn't it be? I mean, you seem like the guy to maybe ask it. Did Jeff? It's a real easy one. Did Jeff ask for a trade?
Oh, fair enough. John Lynch just did a press conference. I missed it. I was doing a show with my dad. I'm guessing that was asked and he addressed it. So we'll find out.
Yeah.
Josh White, I hear you. A lot of people said it. So yeah, we were talking about the meta conversation here, and yeah, some people are a little inconsistent. Good win over a bad team. I still say trade Kyle Shanahan. Yeah, I just feel like we haven't learned anything. They got blown out by the one great team they faced. Okay, a lot of teams are going to get blown out by the Chiefs. Their best win is over the Seahawks, who are kind of different than. We still haven't learned very much about the Niners. We will.
Well, I'll say one thing. I think we haven't learned a lot about the Niner defense because this Ram offense is a totally one-dimensional offense. They had no rushing attack to save their life.
None. No blocking.
They their offensive line's a joke. They're a one-receiver team, and they targeted that receiver 12 times. He made 8 catches, and a touchdown. So, I don't know if the Niner defense is legit. We saw they get their doors blown off by Kansas City, and yeah, they beat the Rams. But as I just said, the Rams offensively are having problems. So I don't know how good the defense is with all the injuries they've had. It's hard to evaluate that.
The one good offense they faced, they got smashed by. One of the worst defensive performances in a long time across the league. So we don't know. You're right. Tommy Harper says Trey Lance for Hill, Waddle, and now Bradley Chubb. Is that what it's come down to?
Yes. Yeah. They traded all those picks and they got Hill, Waddle, and Chubb.
I'd love to know if McDaniel was privately in the organization being like, hey, don't do this trade. And once they did it, he was like, I'm going to Miami. Jason says, is Trent Williams nearing the washed up status?
Could be. Could be.
He's been hurt a lot. He's been hurt pretty much since week 18 last year. I don't know.
I mean, I think he's still very much a force in the run game. In the pass game against really fast edge rushers, I wonder how he'll stand up on the faster surfaces with the money on the line come playoff time. We'll see.
We'll have to see. And if he's, if it feels like this high ankle sprain has been lingering for months, so hopefully it can go away. Any update on Kinlaw? Strangely, no. Haven't heard anything about him.
No, and I'll tell you, Dennis Brown was saying it a few weeks ago that he could be done for the year. So, I mean, if
it
that's
seems
the
to me
case,
they did
that's
something
huge...
drastic. It didn't have the intended effects. Maybe they're going to need to go back to the drawing board and think of something else.
Well, at this point, it's just a bad move, right?
I have something really cynical to say. Something really cynical to say. He's going to go to another team and end up being healthy. I don't know why. And I'm not saying it's like Kyle's fault or the training staff's fault, but isn't that what happens? Look at Mostert now. Fine. It's so weird. So I don't know. Don't write off Kinlaw. It just feels like a player like that shouldn't come to a team like this for whatever reason.
I just hope the Niners have learned their lesson that when it comes time to go for defensive linemen in the drafts ahead, because the ones behind you can't do anything about. In the drafts ahead, do not draft any defensive linemen that can't rush the passer, because the days of Ted Washington are over. The days of Jerry Ball, Michael Carter are over. Yeah. What I'm saying is you have to have some ability to get after the passer, even if it's DJ Jones' ability, where it's like you're just a little quicker than people think. You have to have pass rush ability to play D-line in a league that has Kyler and especially, Russell and Mariota and a bunch of other guys that can move. You got to be able to.
Don't even care about running the ball anymore. The Rams don't care about running the ball anymore. And the Niners D-line against the Rams in this last game, a lot of times was Nick Bosa, Charles Omenihu, Drake Jackson, and Samson Ebukam. It was like
the NASCAR 4DN. Yeah.
Yeah, on first down. Like, you guys aren't going to run the ball. Who cares?
They did it to Mahomes too.
That's right. Yeah. Do you think they can bring in OBJ for 1 to 2 years? They can. Do they need to? I mean, he's kind of washed. He's about 30. He's had a bunch of injuries. And, I mean, the Niners got 2 good tight ends, 2 good running backs, a fullback, 2 good wide receivers. I mean, and they run the ball more than they pass it. I don't think they need another guy. I don't know.
I don't either. I mean, first of all, you got McCaffrey, where's McCaffrey going to play when Elijah Mitchell comes back? Isn't Elijah Mitchell your starting back? Aren't you going to flex out McCaffrey? Isn't he going to play, the slot? Isn't he going to be the slot receiver? I'd rather see them get Danny Gray up to speed than pursue OBJ. OBJ can't run anymore. He's a diva. He's going to want a certain number of balls coming his way. It's a run-first type team. No. They already are going to have a hard enough time splitting up the touches. I would say no to OBJ.
Yeah, Flave says, hey guys, just got on a flight. Internet might be spotty. If I get disconnected, just go on without me. You guys got this.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Flav.
Flave's having a great day now that we changed his name from Flav to Flave. Flave is just, yeah, it's Flav, but it's Flave now. It just resonates with the people more.